Hi there, I'm Peter Russell from SuperTax. Welcome to another one of my video blogs. Today's topic is going to be on the home buyer's plan in Canada, a brief and general understanding. So what exactly is the home buyer's plan? Well, I'm going to explain to you in an example. Let's suppose that in 2011 you want to become a first-time home buyer. Let's also suppose that you've built up some RRSPs over the last few years. Well, you may be entitled to withdraw $25,000 of those RRSP contributions and put towards the purchase of your new home. You would not have to start repaying this loan for at least 2 years, and you can take up to 15 years to repay this loan. So I'm going to give you an example here. Suppose $10,000 is borrowed from your RRSPs to put towards the home buyer's plan. That would mean that you could take 2 years to repay that $10,000, and you can take up to 15 years from that point to repay the full $10,000. So the minimum payment would be $666.66, which is equal to $10,000 divided by 15. You also have the option for any year to increase the amount of payment that you want to make. That would just readjust what you owe for the remaining years. Now, what would happen if you failed to make any RRSP contribution to repay to the home buyer's plan? Well, that means that you would have to take into income an amount equal to whatever the required payment was for that given year. That would be picked up on line 129 of your T1 General Income Tax return. Now, you have to meet some conditions in order to qualify for the home buyer's plan participation program. The first requirement is you must be a Canadian resident. The second requirement is if you have participated in this program before, you must have a zero balance during this year. The third condition is you must have entered into a written agreement for a qualified home. Now, what's a qualified home? Well, a qualified home is a home that's bought in Canada and is usually a single-family dwelling or a townhouse or a semi-detached home or a condominium or even a mobile home. Fourth, you must have the intent to occupy this home as your principal place of residence. And the most important condition is that you must be considered a first-time home buyer. Now, how do you meet that? First of all, for the 4 preceding years before the year that you're buying this home, you cannot have owned a home in which you were living in as your principal residence. So, for example, if you're buying this home in 2011, for the years 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010, and even up until 30 days of closing in 2011, you cannot have owned another home in which you were living in as your principal residence. The same goes for if you have a spouse too. Now, there's one exception. If you are a person with a disability or you are entering in the home buyer's plan program for a relative who is a disabled person and you're in fact helping them buy a home, then you do not have to meet the first-time home buyer condition. A couple more conditions must be met. Of course, you cannot withdraw more than $25,000 for the 2011 year. And also, once you make those RRSP withdrawal for the home buyer's plan, you cannot have owned your new home more than 30 days. A couple more situations I want to discuss. Firstly, if you are a participant under the home buyer's plan and you turn 71 during the year, that means you can no longer repay your RRSPs. You must either, let me say that again. You can continue to make you can repay your RRSPs, but that is the final year. Otherwise, the remaining amount is taken into income for the remainder of the term of your payback period. Now, what if you become a non-resident in the year? That means you usually have to repay the entire amount of your RRSP loan, or you have to take the entire amount into income on line 129. You usually have to pay back the loan within 60 days of you ceasing to be a Canadian resident. Well, I hope you found this video blog informative on the home buyer's plan. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask. You can leave a note below, or you can send me an email at peter@supertax.ca. You can also find the remainder of my coordinates at www.supertax.ca. Thank you very much.